Welcome back to another episode of 40 Facts about the 40K universe. I am your host Gersh1 and you are watching One Mind Syndicate. Today we continue with our talk about the Eldar lore. We will be talking about the craft worlds. Specifically, we're going to get into the biggest craft world of Alitok. So let's get into 40 facts about the Eldar. In the time leading up to the Great Fall, each Eldar homeworld of the Empire created a gigantic starship, sung from wraithbone and so massive as to be nearly a planetoid itself. The last uncorrupted individuals from each world were loaded onto these ships, along with works of art, plant life, and animals, all that could be saved. In these craft worlds, as they came to be known, the final Eldar exodus began, and only barely in time. The psychic shockwave of Slaaneish's birth in the 30th millennium caught some of the craft worlds and destroyed them, while others were pulled into the orbit against their will around the Eye of Terror. The craft world's population probably composed the majority of the surviving Eldar race, although it is impossible to say just how many individuals this was. The craft worlds are certainly the seat of the remaining Eldar industries, technology, and culture, as they contain only a part of their original homeworld civilization. Most of the craft worlds contain special biodomes that house plants and wildlife from the original homeworld of the craft world's people, and those are carefully tended to. Although each craft world is essentially independent in its actions and governance, they will generally offer and accept aid and advice from one another. Although not common, sometimes craft worlds' disagreement will cause two to clash on the field of battle, though this is always a last resort. Every craft world contains an infinity circuit, which is essentially the wraithbone skeleton of the craft world itself. Within this matrix, called the Infinity Circuit, the souls of all the craft world's dead resides in a form of group consciousness, providing both a well of psychic power for the ship and a massive ancestral mind to advise and guide the living. The Infinity Circuit is the closest thing that the Eldar now have as an afterlife, for if their souls are not captured at death and integrated into the Infinity Circuit, they will be lost in the warp and devoured by Slaanesh. For this reason, the Eldar will defend their craft worlds with a fury that is almost unrivaled among sentient species. They risk losing not only their home, but the souls of their ancestors as well. The Eldar hope that one day, when the last Eldar soul is placed within the craft world's collective Infinity Circuit, they will unite into a new Eldar god known as Ined, the god of rebirth, who will fight and overthrow Slaanesh. It is a faint hope, but the only hope that the Eldar now possess for their dwindling race. Far out in the frontiers of the galaxy, on the edge of the explored space, lies the Alitok craft world. The Alitok Eldar are zealous in their vigilance against the touch of Slaanesh, even more so than other Eldar. Alitok is an unusually strict craft world in making sure its citizens follow the Eldar path and the Eldar traditions. In response, many of the more freedom-loving individuals from their craft worlds choose instead the Eldar path of the outcasts, becoming rangers or even Eldar pirates who roam the galaxy and make their living raiding primarily Imperial commerce. The craft world is described as a continent-sized flat disk, although there are hundreds of levels, whose surface contains numerous domes, each with its own environment and climate theme. There are mile-high protrusions on its surface, serving as landing docks, weapon platforms, and other things. It is a vast, shielded spacecraft that trails its own webway portal. Gigantic solar sails provide the needed energy for the artificial world to function. While all Eldar craft worlds make use of the Rangers, who are the most highly acute snipers among the Eldar, none field or produce more than Aliot. Though Alitok Rangers do not reside upon the craft world and prefer to travel the galaxy, these Rangers retain their loyalty to this craft world and will return to their home on occasion to visit family and friends. Alitok is also the only craft world to field the highly skilled Rangers known as Pathfinders. These snipers, without compare, can cause havoc among even the most powerful and numerous of enemy forces. In time of extreme need, such as during the Imperium of Man's recent invasion of Alitok, the Craftworld sometimes recalls its rangers to contribute to the defense force. Whereas their kin have forgotten their people's duty to watch for the return of their ancient enemies, the Necrons, the Eldar of Alitok, have not. When the Necrons first began to awake, Alitok was quick to respond, sabotaging the systems of the awakened Tomb Worlds and lending aid to Exodites threatened by their re-emerging enemies. Alitok used a sword rune which represents the Sword of Val, the weapon forged in Eldar myth for the Smith god's desperate battle against the war god, Cain. It represents the defiance and determination of its people. Alitok and its forces are associated with the colors blue and yellow. The Craftworld is known to be located in the Ultima Segmentum and was the heart of the ancient Eldar Empire. Alitok encounters a splinter fleet of Hive Fleet Behemoth. The Craftworld's armada of cruisers, escort ships, and Corsair allies launch a preemptive assault on the Tyranid fleet, which was unprepared for the swiftness and accuracy of the Eldar vessels. The furious battle raged for many days until finally the Alitok fleet set itself to destroy as many of the large Tyranid bioships as they could. With their Craftworld rapidly approaching, the Alitok armada destroyed or seriously injured the largest of the Tyranid vessels, effectively destroying the hive mind's command structure and causing the Tyranid assault to lose coherency. To ensure that the remnants of the Tyranid bioswarm didn't drift towards Alitok as it would make its way through the ravaged sector, the Eldar armada launched thousands of torpedoes. These succeeded in destroying or blasting away any remaining Tyranid spores and creatures. Centuries later, Imperial Navy maps still mark this area as a dead zone. The Farseers of Alitok foresee a vicious assault from the Orc Wa on the maiden world of Alarian. With many of their rangers too far from the Craftworld to be recalled in time, the Farseers reluctantly call upon their Spirit Seers to activate the force of Ghost Warriors. The Wraith constructs are duly brought to war and hurried into concealed positions across the planet. When the attack arrives, the Spirit Warriors of Alitok make pinpoint attacks on the green-skinned leaders, quickly tearing the heart from the Wa and driving the orcs from the Maiden World. On the frigid ice world of Bellatis III was the site of the Bellatis III campaign, fought in the 894th year of the 41st millennium, between the forces of the Imperium defending the system and the Eldar who sought to recover the armor of an ancient Phoenix Lord, Irilith. Phoenix Lord Illyrith was the founder of the Shadow Spectre Aspect Warriors, whose vessel had crash-landed on the world millennium ago. An alliance of Eldar forces from the Craftworlds of Mimir and Alitok, as well as Eldar Corsairs from the Void Dragons, Sky Raiders, and Sunblitz Brotherhood, descended on the frigid world to recover their beloved Phoenix Lord's armor before it was discovered and defiled by the human miners present on the world. In this way, the Mimir hoped that Illyrith would be restored to fight once more for his people, since the spirit would have remained intact within his armor, Spirit Stone. Batalis III was reinforced by Imperial Guard regiments drawn from the Cadian shock troops and the Elysian drop troops, as well as a Titan Legion and the Space Wolves Astartes of Wolf Lord Bran Redmaw's Great Company. After the Eldar forces fought the Imperial forces to a bloody standstill, they vanished as quickly as they had arrived, presumably after they had recovered Irilith. Alitok Farseer Eldrith Starbane leads a small group of rangers to aid the damaged Crimson Fist chapter master Pedro Cantor and his small force of warriors against the remnants of Wa Snagrok at the battle for Traitor's Gorge on Rhine's world. Fate had dictated that Alitok should fight side by side that day, but next time they meet, it would be Starbane's gauntlet that would be stained with the blood of the chapter master. And those were 40 facts about the Eldar Craftworld. Specifically, the Eldar Craftworld of Ali Tok. I probably mispronounced that throughout the entire video. I probably mispronounced a bunch of words, so I'm sorry for that. But I hope you still enjoyed this Eldar lore. Again, if you have any suggestions as to really awesome Eldar battles, please comment down below so I can research them and create a cool battle narrative video for the Eldar. And be sure to subscribe to the channel to get that awesome video. If you're already a subscriber, thank you so much for liking, sharing, and commenting down below. You are awesome, and I'll catch you in the next one. This was Gersh1 with One Mind Syndicate, signing out. Thank you for staying to the end of the video. This is the battle pit where you guys battle it out in the comments as to who would win in a fight between two heroes or two squads. For this video, I am asking you guys who would win in a fight. An Eldar going hand-to-hand combat against Bruce Lee. Who would win in this epic fight of speed? Please comment down below. I want to find out how many Bruce Lee fans we got out there, and I can't wait to read them. The winner, or I'm going to read through the comments, and the one with the best response, I'm going to give a shout out at the end of the week. So be sure to subscribe to get that. Can't wait to read your comments, and I'll catch you in the next one.